So the Python hooks we started yesterday. We understood why we need an object-oriented programming. The first concept we have seen. So we will see the problem of bring all things together. So oops allow us to do the code in modular way. So we have seen the how to create a class, how to call the class functions, how to create an object with the help of object, how we can call the function. So this concept we have seen. Now today we are going to see the topic of inheritance and its types. Okay. So let's start to today's oops concept that we are willing to see. It's nothing but inheritance. I and inheritance. Okay. Very important. So this concept we are going to see inheritance. And there are different types of inheritance are there. Like a single, you can say that a single label, multi-label. Then you have the concept of multiple is also supported by the Python. Hierarchical and one of the hybrid is also hybrid near writing. So these are the different types of inheritance that we are going to see. But first of all, we understood that the class object itself provide a modular coding. Then why we need the inheritance? What feature it provide? Okay, so that's concept we are going to see. So before starting with the object oriented, we have seen the problem that doing all code in together within a single file that create confusion. So as of now, like we can have a art functions here, then the commerce function here, then the science function here. Having all the function within a single files, that's leading to a complexity in the problems. So the class and object will provide us the modularity where we are creating a different classes. Arts class is different. Then we have a science class is there, and which are the commerce classes there. So this help us to do the modular class. So all art related things will be in the art class, commerce related things within the commerce class, and the science related things within the science class. So this science. So yesterday we understand this that without oops, the problem of having all class or function in together that create leads into the problems. Then class allow us to create a different class and all related functionality within should be particular class. All art related things will be done in the arts class, commerce related in commerce, and the science related in the science. So this is up to we understood. Now, why the inheritance? So what is the problem with the simple class objects and why we need an inheritance? There are simple things. We have to do the class and object only. The only thing is that imagine there is a one class is there. Like if you see that every stream, it may be art, it may be commerce, science, and every streams, there is a something a common which is needed by all the streams. For example, assume that you have a function hall, right? You can consider as a function hall. So we talk about a function hall, is function hall. So the function hall is need for arts classes. The function hall is need for commerce classes. And the function hall is need for science class also. So from that, what we are understanding here, there is a something which is need by all the classes. In the similar manner, suppose arts have suppose any class have some functions. Something calculation is a function. Imagine that. Okay. So this is a function which is have can consider that it have 1,000 lines of code, 1,000 lines of code. Something logic is there. And then now what happened? Same logical functions, the function that is available in the art class, the same function is needed for the commerce also and the science also. In that case, what happens? That particular functions of the art class is not accessible to the commerce because that is the concept of class and object. Class not allow us their own function to be accessed outside. And that's why we created a class. Arts related function, arts related only, commerce related commerce. But there are something which is needed by all the classes commonly. So one option we have, we can directly what we can do instead of accessing this function, we can create the same function here. Like I can create one more function called a call, and I can write 1,000 lines of code. Again, the sciences also need the same. Okay, no worry. I can create one more class, calculate function, and 1,000 lines of code. Okay. So this is a possible. Instead of getting something from other classes, we can directly create a same function with all the fields. It is up to okay when there is a something, a small function is there, but just imagine it is not a 1,000 lines of code. It may be a 10,000 lines of code. Then there must be a something provision so that any class can access other class functions. If that is possible, then instead of writing the 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 in the different 30,000 lines of code, you can create one simple separate class for that. Any class, CLAWS, called cal, and write that function within here. And this function now, instead of writing every time 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, you can directly call this function. They call this class function with this commerce, arts, and science. It means that simple doing a class object programming, every individual class must have the right code. There is no accessibility from the other classes. If you yesterday you have seen the programs, we have done that many programs. So let me quickly open one of the programs. So maybe like okay, uh, class demo we have seen. See, so this is one of the program we have seen. There is an art class and there is a commerce class. There is a is function, CC is function. If you directly try to access the arts function in the commerce class, okay, like this is the only function call. If you try to run, it will throw error. Okay, what it said, the name error A is not defined. Though A is available, but it is available in the arts class. So it simply means that you cannot access the other class function into our own classes. Okay. How can I access this? I need to define the same thing again here. Okay. Now I can access this AA functions. Is it possible? It simply means that in class object, we can't get the other class function in our own class. Okay. But that is needed sometime because the line number of lines of code is many. So instead of writing the same code again and again, there is something a way to access other class function in our class. So that is possible with the help of inheritance. Okay. So what is our today's concept? We are going to see the inheritance. So inheritance allows us to access other class of function into our own classes. Okay. That's a power or that's a feature of inheritance. And there are different types of inheritance: single, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, hybrid. But these all things should be same, only something different structure they have. So first of all, we'll see the demonstration of the inheritance. We start with a single level inheritance. You understood why we need inheritance? That's important. So what do you understood, like why we need inheritance from this explanation? Yes,
It is a function which we can use to obtain a speciality from one class in another class or function of one class in another class.
exactly. So without
Yes.
inheritance, it is not possible to access the other class function into our class. Inheritance allow us to access other class function into our own class. Okay. This is the main theme of inheritance. Now we'll go with the syntactical, like what's a syntax and how to write the program. Every concept must be understand why. Anything you want to learn in the coding or any like in school or colleges, every time ask the questions why it is needed. And any concept, it may be science, it may be a maths or any related thing you want to study. So try to ask the question why. Once your why is clear, no, then the other thing will become easy. Okay. So natural. Okay. So now we understood that inheritance allows to access other class functions. Now we'll see the how. Okay. Let me create very simple functions inheritance, or you can so we go with a single SNINGL, single and inherit. Okay. Let me create one class called a PRNT. Okay. PRNT. Just that kind of thing. Sorry. I have a bit of curly brackets, but there is no curly colors. So in parent class, I'll create one function called a PP def PP colon colon enter. I'll write print the messages that I am parent, I am PARENT. Perfect. Fine. And I'll create one more class called child. I'll write a CLD. So CLD child colon enter. I'll create def CC colon enter PRINT print. And I'll write here I am child. Child, CHILD child. Now there are two different classes. One is a parent, one is a child. And we know that if you want to access a parent function, we have to create a object of parent class. For the child, we have to create an object for child class. But if there is no self in the this, so for that type, you have to access the function via class name, that prnt.pp or cld.cc. This is how we can access. But if you want to create an object, then for that you have to write a cell. It's not every time self. It's just for make avoid the confusion between the normal variable and the reference variable. So now we can create the objects. We can create an object p is equal to parent prnt. This is a reference variable we are creating. With the help of p, I can call a pp. Parents. But I can't call the child function with the help of pp. It is not possible that p dot cc. If you try to call this, it will throw error if there is no attribute like this. Even though you are creating a child class object, C is equal to CLD. I'm creating an object. With the help of C, I can call the CC only. Okay. But I am trying to expect the parent also. PP is a other class functions, and the child want to access the parents. Still, it not avoided. It's still avoided. Then how we can achieve the other class function? That is with the help of inheritance. So very simple syntax is that you want to access any function, you have to simply write that class name here in the brackets. Child inherit parent. Parent. What we are doing here, we are inherit parent, parent function. So this means that now we have access of the parent class function in the child class, so that child can access the parent class function also. As of now, you can see that there is an error. The child object no attribute as PP because PP is a function of parent. But now we are inheriting the parents. Simple syntax. After class, give the round brackets and this parent. Now if you run these programs, child also access the parent functions. And this is why, because of we are inheriting. So this is syntax of inheritance. Okay. So that we can access the parent class function. Without inherit, if you try to access the parent functions, okay, it come to know here, it will throw error that there is no PP. There's no PP. But if you inherit the other class, you can access that class function. Yes. Okay. So this is simple syntax of inheritance. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clear. After doing like this, after inheritance, you have access to get the function of other class function. Fine. And this is a type of a single inheritance. You can call it a single. Why it is single? Because only one parent is there. Single. Okay. The two concept understanding is very important. Simple class object and this type of inheritance. If you understood this, then and then only you can understand the type of inheritance that is multiple, multi-level, hybrid hierarchical. If there is a confusion, then you can clear it. Otherwise, we go for the next. Is properly clear how class object works and only class object how many have a restriction
Yes,
and inheritance how to allow us to access the other class function. Fine. So this is
yes.
the first type called a single label inheritance. Now let's go for the multi-label. Okay. So let me draw the something like Python inheritance. Topic name is inheritance. Python inheritance. So the first type we have seen single label. The single label means one parent and the one child. It's a single. Only one label is there. This is a parent and this is child. And child is inheriting the parents. Okay. This. So this is a type of single label. Only one single label. Now we see the multi-label inheritance. Multi-label inheritance means assume that there is a grandfather, there is a father, there is a grandchild. Mean there are certain levels out there. It may be three, four, anything. Okay. So just assume that. So this is your grandparent. this is your parent, and this is your child. Now, in that case, what happened with the child extending the parent? That means all the parent-related functions is accessible to the child. In multi-level, what happens if the child is inheriting the parent and the parent is inheriting the child, so that all the grandfather related functions should be accessible to the parent. But as the child is extending the parent, so that child have access of parent as well as a grandparent. It simply means that if you are inheriting something class, and that class is already inherited by the other class, so the directly indirectly we can access that class functions. In that case, what happened? We are extending the parent so that all the parent function we can access. But this parent is also accessing the grandparents so that we can access the grandparent as well as parents, both the function together. This, like, this is multi-level inheritance. There are multi-levels which are multi-level. Okay, let's see the practically. So you know that we have like we'll do the simple example so that it will be very clear. Get the multi-level example. So let us save these files. Multi-LVL and HRT. So assume that I'm creating a one class called gparent parent. This is the grandparents. Where I can either write the functions or I can take a simple variable. So let me take here as n. There is surname I can take. The surname is available in the grandparents. Let me create one more class as parent. This is parent. The parent contains the M name, middle names is equal to, let me consider that. Let me take one more class here. Child class CLD. And where how my name is there and everything. Now I'll create one more function here that is full name function. If I want to print the full name, print, then my first name is then nm plus concat plus mname plus space plus snm. Right? But the problem is that the middle name is available in the parents and surname is available in the grandparents. Now, if I create the object of child class, so let me create a cell here. C is equal to CLD. So we know very well with the help of child object, we can call only a child thing. So I already call a C dot full NM here. You can see that it will give the error. It is giving error for every NM list. What is error by NM list? Oh, we are using a self, so you need to write a self dot L. Self dot NM. SEL self dot business. SEL. self dot this. I can see that. See, it is giving the error for middle name and the surname, but not error for the name because name is available in the child classroom. Okay, for the understanding, let me write this code for the three times. So here I'm writing only the name. You can call this, you can simply get the name because it's a simple class. But if you want to parent name us, then we can inherit in our empty parent. If you are inheriting something, that means the parent function is accessible to the child also, but it is not accessible for the surname. See, it's giving for a surnames. So I can access the surname here, like let me print two type of name here. First name and middle. Now you want to this name also, but here child is not inheriting the parents. Now the parent is inheriting the GPRNT. So parent is inheriting the grandparent. This means grandparent things is available in the parents, and we are also accessing the parents. Not directly, indirectly, we can access this neighbors. See, so let's not. So
Yes, sir.
you're getting this is called multi-level inheritance. If we can inheriting something class, so all the feature of that class is accessible. But if that class is accessing for other class, so directly, indirectly, we can access other class function also. By single class object, we can access only name. By simple inheriting, we can access only the grandparents, parent names. But parent is inheriting something means already parent have this access and we have a parent access. So any access by the parent is accessible to the child. It's a multi-level. And even though if the grandchild is accessing something else, so that thing is also directly, indirectly accessible to the child. Okay? This is the power of multi-level inheritance. If I create one more level here, I can come to know that let's class. Let me take a test or any kind of thing. Yeah, we have a test. Let me say that the country CNTR. TR. So let's see in TR, I can write here India. I am Italy. Now, if you try to access this country here, okay, let me print the country here. It will throw error. Okay, child no attribute as CNTR because it totally is separate. But now, if I grandparent is inheriting the country CNTR. Yeah, the child is not inheriting the grandparents, not even the country. What happened here? Parent is inheriting the grandparents, and the grandparent is inheriting the country, and the child is inheriting the parents. That means directly, indirectly, all these three things accessible to the parents.
That-
And that is a multi-level inheritance. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So this is how like we have seen the two types of inheritance. First of all, you have to practice on this, and there are other types also. We can see the two types at a day, so that all the types of inheritance we can easily tell. Now the next, there are two types of inheritance pendings. So three types of. One is a multiple, and then there is an hierarchical and the hybrid. Okay. So there are the three types of inheritance pending. That will take tomorrow. But before that, you understood the concept of inheritance.
Yes.
Any doubt in that? Clear?
Yes.
Right? Two types of inheritance we have done. The first one is a single level, and the second one is multi-level inheritance. Okay? You can practice this by writing code. I'll share you the screenshot of the program. Okay. You can create your own, like your country, your surname, your grandfather names, your parent name. This same program you can done by your names on it. And this you
Yes,
can
sir.
do it by practice. Okay. This is how we have started with the OOPS. OOPS is very important in any kind of program. It may be a Java or it may be Python. In Python, it is very important to understand the advanced concept. As we can go further, like there is something class-based thing is there, so that also we have understood. Okay, this is how we have started. We are able to create a class. We can write functions variable. We can able to create the object of class. We can call the functions, and now we understood the type inheritance also. Okay, there are some types of pending. Once we know types of inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, this concept is okay. No problem. Rest thing we'll see tomorrow. Bye bye.